When I go to try to sleep, I feel like I'm being lit up like a Christmas tree. I feel every cell in my body just bouncing out of my body. I can't even describe it. I get electric shock of my rectum. I get electric shock up my nose. I've woken up with burns on the end of my tongue. I've had burns on the palms of both of my hands. I vibrate. I vibrate. I can barely hold a piece of paper without quivering. Does that answer your question?
I'm trying to find what's the source of the...
The source are these exotic weapons. They talk about in 2976, but if you would pass it, it might give other communities the courage to do the same thing and show our Defense Department we are not the enemy. We are not to be attacked. We are not terrorists. Most of us are defenseless women. Oh. They sent me to the mental ward because they said I did this to myself. It would never hurt me. I have been a victim since 2007. You can't see this.
Life has been destroyed in every possible way, and every day has been a struggle for me.
Occasion, I was told I was going to be shot in the face, and it was an older guy. He was like really, really disgruntled and pissed off. Yeah, she's going to get shot in the face. Sound like an angry ass old person. Then a couple of days later, a female said the same thing. Don't get shot in the face. Stupid shit like that. But what I really noticed is with the Voice of Skull, it's a bunch of females. And I'm like, bro, really? You're not a woman. What real woman would stalk another female or sit back and allow that to go on? You really think they think it's nothing wrong with them? Basically, they call me retarded.
I also experience what is referred to as malo. Anything electronic. They have even locked me out of my office building that uses an electronic key. It is often very difficult and an immense battle just to even sit on the toilet to go to the bathroom. Not only because of the bowel and bladder manipulation, but also because of the frequent severe sexual assaults on the genitals, my butt and anus, shaking, vibrating, and rocking my body back and forth, and forced eyeball movements, and phantom touch sensations, doing rubbing sensations, etc. Later retracted all his statements, denying the existence of investigation. During a news interview, the former Prime Minister of Poland openly admitted, etc. Rocking my pelvic area back and forth, repeated rubbing sensations, the sensation of something going up my crotch, repeated rubbing sensations, the sensation of something going up my crotch, repeated rubbing sensations, also body movements such as rocking my pelvic area back and forth, repeated rubbing sensations, the sensation of something going up my crotch and in and out, etc. They also often force vaginal discharges and zap my genitals at the same time. These sexual assaults are present throughout the day, every day, and anytime I am awakened at night, every night. They range from mild to extreme, but usually involve daily and night.
About 1 o'clock in the morning, I woke up about 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning, bleeding out of every hole, sick. Someone was in my room, or had been in my room. Food was missing. My dogs were traumatized. I had been obviously sexually assaulted in all the worst ways possible. I got up, first thing I did was vomit. And all I wanted to do was I was just in shock. There was a do not disturb sign on my door, and I didn't do this. And there was lotion all over my bathroom floor. All I wanted to do was just get on a plane and get the hell away from everybody. And I was, very, very sick and in a lot of pain. I had already been denied a rape kit when I owned my house, and woke up, and my hair had obviously been pulled out and there were earplugs in my bed. And I felt like someone had done something. I went to Palos Community Hospital, um, under the directions of a non-compromised police officer who told me that if anything happened, to go right to the hospital. So I did. And I had a compromised doctor who treated me like a third-rate citizen and said she would give me an STD test and a drug test. But that does.
So one thing I try to do is always put things in perspective. These perps, these people contracted by these governmental entities that implement this torture onto us, target individual, are just that. They're just the bottom feeders the government are using to implement this technology. You just heard who is being targeted to. There's a lot of women. There's a lot of children. But there's a lot of women, at least for sure. And what they do to them is things that is just the horribleness of their torture is crazy. Now, with me, I've said it many times. They've been creating this PSYOP, right? I'm supposed to look at them because you're gonna even actually, you've heard at this point that there's women saying there's a lot of females involved in this V2K, and so it's just obvious that there's a lot of female women or people with female gender involved in this program that does so much horrible things to women. And for me, they like try to find ways to vilify me. Now, at this point, I know who's talking to me. These people are involved in destructions of women in ways that you can't even understand. Matter of fact, the cover that you're seeing these CIA entities now recruiting this woke progressive, or try to being mocked for people try to recruit progressive woke and try to create that facade, right? But you also see the legs of these women. Those are actual women's legs. They destroy them. They handicap them. They destroyed them, and they also tortured them in different ways. These women, you heard the testimonials, obviously women being tortured. Now listen to how delusional they think that I'm going to let them escape from. And they're like, oh, we're going to win because my brain is manipulated. And so these people who, funny enough, when I hear this, they're like, oh, nothing. Because I'm listening to the torture of this woman and like, oh, nothing. But remember that. And they try to make me think of when there was this person, when I was in college, early 20s or so, I had a party at my place. And there's some, I don't know where there was an argument between two people, two girls, right? And they were arguing back and forth. I didn't know what was going on, but it seemed like one was just more aggressive than the other, and the other one was just kind of try to calm things down. So I approached this group of people, and this is my apartment, and I'm like, hey, can you? And I looked at I talked to the one that was being more aggressive, and I looked at her, I was like, hey, can you calm down? Very calmly. She looked at me, threw her glass, whatever drink she had, and she threw it on my face. I immediately reacted. I grabbed her by the collar, opened the door, and threw her out. Now I'm on the second floor, so she fell down. She fell down a little bit. She fell down on 2 stairs and got up and walked away. That was it. She walked out. She was in good shape. You can see her just walking away. And I'm looking at her walking back, walking outside with her own feet normally, no injury or nothing. She just walked away. And then I closed the door. Matter of fact, the person that she was arguing with apologized for her, because all I asked her is, can you please calm down? And she felt bad because she threw a drink at me for the sole reason for asking her to calm down when she was obviously being aggressive to this girl. And so they're like, oh, you see, she fell down like this. What if she broke her something? What if? And then they try to exaggerate. It's like, nothing. She didn't break anything. She was not injured. She just, maybe her ego was a little bit messed with, but she was healthy and she walked away. Now, the reality of what you guys do is this. You literally destroy. Can you imagine people involved in destroying lives of women in ways that you can't even understand? And then try to be like, no, but you see, she could have broken. It's like she could. You are literally breaking people's women, handicap them, literally targeting them to handicap them psychologically, physically, and these people think I'm gonna let them escape. And with me, they try to really be like such a femme fatale, like, yeah, nah, we're gonna win. It's like, yes, I know my brain is gonna be manipulated to think in these logical ways. You who do these horrible things can make me think that you who do this horrible thing should feel guilty, or you should vilify me when you're doing these things to women in these disturbing ways. I understand this is what this technology can do. And so they're like, no, you pay. I was like, yes, of course. You who torture children and women these ways, we're going to make me pay for kicking this person out who walked away healthy, uninjured. You who injured women in ways that you can't even understand, destroying them, frying them, raping them, doing horrible things to them, handicapping them, are going to try to vilify me for this. What they do to women is horrible. I'm never going to pretend that I'm perfect, but I will never let somebody who is involved in a program that can do such a horrible things to women, or can participate in a program that does such a horrible things to women, or participate in a program that involved in doing these things to women. And then when you hear this testimony, you're like, oh, nothing, now we pay, we are war. You're not at war, but you are trying to break people down. What you've done to women is just things that there's no coming back from. And I will never let you speak for anybody. And right now they try to make me think of this woman, Courtney's or whatever. Like, listen, please don't mention anybody when you're in a program that can do these horrible things to women. You guys are trash and PSYOPs. You're trying to create a facade that cannot be subscriptive to when you're involved in this. You heard a woman talking about how she's sexually tortured, where they use some kind of zapping and electricity to just zap her rectum. She's not the only one. There's some more graphic testimonials. So I'm never going to let them live their fantasy. Never. And so what if they try to pretend that they're speaking for Courtney or whatever? It's like, you guys are trash so foul that they even refuse rape kits on women who are wake up in pain and hurting, and refuse them and bleeding, and refuse them a rape kit. I can never let them live their fantasy. Especially when they try to talk about me throwing somebody out who threw a drink at me. So, to all my target individual, I know we all have PSYOPs. Some of us believe this is a cult. Some of us believe it's a crime organization. The reality is, this is obviously the government running this program. The governmental entities that run this program have tied to the intelligence community, CIA, and other intelligence community. You see how they've been trying to create that facade too. Do not subscribe and identify and feel vilified by people who are capable of being involved in this. I'm not saying I'm perfect, but I'm saying there's not a single woman who can even look at me thinking that I destroy her life. Except this trash involved in the program that destroys a woman's life, who tell me I'm going to pay when they're in this trash are involved in this. Can you imagine? Never. I can never let them live their fantasy.
The face, and it was an older guy. He was like really, really disgruntled and pissed off. Yeah, she's gonna get shot in the face. Sound like an angry ass old person. Then a couple of days later, a female said the same thing. Gonna get shot in the face. Stupid shit like that. But what I really noticed is, with the Voice of Skull, it's a bunch of females. And I'm like, bro, really? You're not a woman. What real woman would stalk another female or sit back and allow that to go on? You really think they think it's nothing wrong with them? Basically, they call me retarded.